was thinking about babies the other day, and more specifically, babies eating. You ever watched a baby eat? They're always messy, right? You ever figure out why that is? They get a spoonful of food, or they take their fingers on it, and they get it, and inevitably they miss their mouth. You know, a little bit goes in, and it tastes good, and so they keep trying. So they go again, and they miss their mouth. Now, as they practice, they keep doing it, and they get more and more in their mouth, little by little. Why is that? Well, it has to do with muscle memorization. A baby doesn't know where their mouth is. So the only way they can do it is to practice that repetition. And slowly but surely, they get more food in their mouth every time. And as you can tell in modern society, we generally all are getting our food in our mouth all of the time. Otherwise, we'd walk around looking like this all the time. Well, what does that have to do with music? Well, I'm going to tell you. Okay, now that I've gotten cleaned up, here's what this is all about. It's about motor skills. All through our lives when we're children, we're learning motor skills. We're learning how to hit our mouth so we can eat. We're learning how to touch our nose, touch your ear without thinking about it. And all this is muscle memory. You've learned the motor skills to find where those parts are on your face and your whole body, that you can just touch them without looking to see where they are. And that's what growing up and learning all these motor skills is all about. Well, music's the same thing. The difference is that we're looking at very, very finite motor skills when we're learning to play a musical instrument. Now, the issue with this whole thing is that it's important to know this, because take a look at this quote here that we've got. This quote is from Frank Wilson from 1981 in an article entitled Mind, Muscle, and Music, Physiological Clues to Better Teaching. Take a look at the first sentence here. Slow practice is the key to rapid technical progress. Well, why is that? Well, because your brain learns by you doing repetitive patterns. So whatever that repetition is, the more often you do it, your brain assumes that that's the correct way you want to do it. But guess what? Your brain is just as efficient of doing incorrect sequences of timing as those that are correct. So it's so important that you try to do it correct from the very beginning when you start learning a piece of music. Well, this statement here really should teach us a lot, and especially for you younger players. The key is patience. Whatever you do, your brain is learning that it thinks that's the right way to do it. So you've probably heard this before, if you practice it once wrong, well, what did your brain learn? Your brain learned how to do it wrong. Okay? So if we practice a lick and we do it 8 times, and the first 6 times we do it wrong, and the next 2 times we do it right, well, what did your brain really learn through that practice session? What it learned is how to do it 6 times wrong. Okay, wrong to us, but your brain thinks it's right because you did it more often. So when you practice, it is so, so important to have patience. Take any technical exercise extremely slow. Okay? Make sure that you're teaching your fingers how to do the correct technical patterns correctly, because the more time they do it correctly, the quicker and the better you're going to learn it. Okay? Now this happens to do with technique books, okay? And that's what techniques are all about, okay? Learning scales, working in technique books, whether it's on saxophone, any other woodwind instrument, whether it's on the piano. Okay, we're always learning technical exercises and scales and arpeggios. Well, why? Well, we're trying to teach our fingers patterns. And not only patterns for your fingers, but patterns for your ear. Okay, when you play a major arpeggio as opposed to a minor arpeggio or a diminished arpeggio, you're learning what it sounds like at the same time. So not only are you training your fingers, you're training your ears as well to hear what it's supposed to sound like and when it's correct and when it's not. So learning these patterns in your technical exercises transfers over to your musical exercises and performing and learning music, because music is made up of patterns. But here's the key, once again, patience. Take your time. Learn the music slowly, and you will learn it better in the long run. You could try to go through faster and hack away at it, and I went through the same process in college as everybody else probably did in the same regard. Tried to learn it and go faster than I thought I could because I was impatient. Well, I never really learned it well. And then I found that I was hitting it maybe 90% of the time. So really the only way to fix that was to go back and learn it slowly so my fingers could learn it. And once I did that, then I had it learned 100%.
But take your time, be patient, you'll be better off for it. You won't even have to waste that time. In the long run, going through it fast and going back and relearning it, you're actually wasting time because you've got to learn it twice. So, take this advice, listen to this quote, keep it in mind. Patience in practicing. Thanks for visiting saxophonehelp.net. You take care. Best to you. Bye-bye.